students. From this video, I will be starting English as second language for 10th standard. I will be explaining each lesson and also giving the answers for the exercises in the questions. Let's start the first lesson. The first lesson is a hero, which is an excerpt from the writings of R.K. Narayan. Now, before we go into learning this lesson paragraph by paragraph, let me just tell you the story so you have an overview of what to expect. We begin this story with Swaminathan and his father. So, Swami is sitting at his table, and his father, as you can see here, is reading the newspaper. And in the newspaper, there's an article which is going to make Swami's day take an unexpected turn. That article is about a boy who was very brave and fought off a tiger. He escaped a tiger by sitting on a tree and waiting for people to come and rescue him. Once Swami's father reads this article, he starts thinking about his own son. And he tells Swami, "Look, Swami, this boy has displayed extraordinary courage. So, learning from this, even you need to start being brave." And the way Swami's father wants a Swami to display his courage is by starting to sleep alone. Now, Swami, when the story is happening, is relatively a young child. He is in 7th standard, which is called as second form. So, in his 7th standard, up until then, he's not had the habit of sleeping alone. He always sleeps next to his granny or his mother. So now Swami is worried because his father is going to make him sleep alone. And the main part of the story happens when Swami is made to sleep alone in his father's office. When he is sleeping alone, he gets scared to sleep on the bed and instead goes below the bench and sleeps there. However, he hears some strange noises during the night, during which, because he's very scared, he attacks the source of the noise. That turns out to be a thief. So Swami, without his knowledge, helps in catching a burglar, and that is the end of the story. Now let's go through the story line by line. We'll start with the first paragraph. For Swami, events took an unexpected turn. Father looked over the newspaper he was reading under the hall lamp and said, "Swami, listen to this. News has been received about the bravery of a village lad who, while returning home by the jungle path, came face to face with a tiger." So, Swami's father is telling him about the news article that he is reading. So here he makes use of the word lad. Lad means a boy. The paragraph described the fight the boy had with the tiger and his flight up the tree, where he stayed half a day till some people came that way and killed the tiger. So, what did the news article talk about? It talked about a boy who by chance encountered a tiger on his way home through the jungle path, and he had to fight off the tiger and run up a tree and wait there till some people came and killed the tiger. After reading it through, father looked at Swami fixedly and asked, "What do you say to that?" So here, fixedly means focusedly. So his father, he is looking at Swami with all his attention and he's asking, "What do you say to that?" Swami said, "I think he must have been a very strong and grown up person, not a boy at all. How could a boy fight a tiger?" Now, Swami has his doubts about the news. He is thinking because tigers are very big and very strong, the person who's fought the tiger also has to be very strong and a grown up. Now, this is reflective of what Swami is thinking. So, he is thinking that the person that is fought with the tiger is a strong and grown up person. You have to keep this in mind because it is a question for you later on in the exercise. You think you're wiser than the newspaper? Father sneered. So, sneer is to speak in a very harsh and rude way. Okay? So, the father is not happy that Swami is questioning the newspaper. He's asking, you think you're so smart? You think you're wiser than the newspaper? A man may have the strength of an elephant and yet be a coward, whereas another may have the strength of a straw, but if he has courage, he can do anything. Courage is everything. Strength and age are not important. So now Father has his wisdom to offer to Swami, in which he is saying a person may be very young and not have the courage and not have the strength, but if he has courage, then he can do anything. Swami disputed that theory. How can that be, Father? Now, Swami is asking his father, how can you say that? Suppose I have all the courage, what could I do if a tiger should attack me? Leave alone strength. Can you prove you have courage? Let me see if you can sleep alone tonight in my office room. Now, Swami is in trouble because he's arguing with his father that even though a person has courage, he needs strength to fend off an attack against a tiger. Father has a challenge for him. He says, you tell me you have courage, can you prove it to me? And how does father want Swami to prove his courage? He is asking, let me see if you can sleep alone tonight in my office room. So father wants Swami to sleep alone. Let's see what Swami has to say. A frightful proposition, Swami thought. Proposition is somewhat of an idea. Now father has this challenge to offer which Swami thinks is frightful. He had always slept beside his granny in the passage. So where does Swami usually sleep? He sleeps next to his granny in the passage. And any change in this arrangement kept him trembling and awake all night. He hoped at first that father was only joking. He mumbled weakly, yes, and tried to change the subject. He said very loudly and with a great deal of enthusiasm, we are going to admit even elders in our cricket club hereafter. We are buying brand new bats and balls. Our captain has asked me to tell you. Now, what is happening is, as father proposes a challenge to Swami, he gets scared and he tries to trick his father into focusing on something else. He is now trying to change his subject and talking about cricket. But do you think father doesn't see through this? Father learns what Swami is doing and he says, we'll see about that later. Father cut in. You must sleep alone hereafter. Hereafter means from now on. Swami realized that the matter had gone beyond his control. From a challenge, it had become a command. So Swami now realizes that from a challenge, it had now become a command. So the difference is Swami had the chance or the option to say no to a challenge. But now that it is a command, he has no choice but to accept it. He knew his father's tenacity at such moments. So now, when you come across words like this, you can refer to the footnotes. Okay? So here you have the meaning of the word tenacity. It means determination. So he knew about his father's determination and he realized that he could do nothing about it but to accept and sleep alone that night. However, he again tries to get out of the situation. He says, from the first of the next month, I'll sleep alone, father. So now this is a very useful or a very used tactic by children when they say they'll do something from some other time if they don't want to do it then. Now Swami is saying, from next month I'll sleep alone. But father is again very determined and he's saying, no, you must do it now. It is disgraceful sleeping beside granny or mother like a baby. You are in the second form. So here, second form means seventh standard. And I don't like the way you're being brought up, he said and looked at his wife, who was rocking the cradle. So the cradle has Swami's younger baby sibling, okay, and the mother is taking care of the baby. Now, father is looking at his mother in such a way that mother says, why do you look at me while you say that? She asked. I hardly know anything about the boy. No, no, I don't mean you, said father. If you mean your mother is spoiling him, tell her so and don't look at me, she said and turned away. Now, here is an exercise for you to check your understanding. After you read some parts of the lesson, it is useful if you take a minute and try to remember how much you have understood. For these exercises, I'll give the answers right here. But for the exercises that are in the end of the lesson, those are very important for you to learn. For them, I'll give you separate answers both in the description box and in the video. The first question is, Swami's father drew his attention to a report in the newspaper. What was the report about? So we know that the report was about a boy who had fought off a tiger. The report said that the boy who fought with the tiger stayed on the tree for half a day. Why did he do so? Choose the correct answer. The options are, he wanted to watch the tiger from the top of a tree, he wanted someone to kill the tiger, or he wanted to take rest for some time. What do you think is the correct answer? The answer is B. So he wanted someone to kill the tiger. So B is the correct answer. Let me just mark it over here. Next, the third question is, Swami said that a very strong and grown up person might have fought with the tiger. Do you think he made this remark out of his A. experience, B. wisdom, or C. belief? Which of these do you think is the most appropriate? Now, if you remember the story, Swami does not have any experience with somebody fighting off a tiger, nor does he have any knowledge or wisdom about it. Instead, he cannot believe that a boy that is as young or as comparably young as himself can fight a tiger. So it's based on his belief that he makes that remark. So the answer is C. belief. Can you prove you have courage? Swami's father said. Answer the following questions. Was he joking or serious? So he was quite serious when he asked Swami this. Was it a challenge or a command? Now remember, the first time he asks it, it is posed as a challenge. But the next time, Swami recognizes that from a challenge, it becomes a command. So we have already highlighted this over here. A challenge, it had become a command. Now the first time Swami's father asks it, can you sleep alone? It is then a challenge. So, can you prove that you have courage is a challenge, then it becomes a command, but it's still a challenge when his father asks this. Because it's over here, can you prove that you have courage, which is still a challenge. Next, the place where Swami usually slept was. So again, I have highlighted this for you in the textbook. He had always slept beside his granny in the passage. Now, a passage is like a corridor in their house. So, that is where Swami usually slept. Let's write that down over here. So, the answer to question 5, the place where Swami usually slept was in the passage beside his granny. The next question, what is disgraceful according to Swami's father? Now, what did Swami's father feel was disgraceful? So, when father was talking up to Swami about courage, he said that it is disgraceful sleeping beside granny or mother like a baby. So, the answer to that question is over here. It is disgraceful sleeping beside granny or mother like a baby. Let me just write it down over here for all of you to copy down. It is disgraceful sleeping next to granny or mother like a baby. So, this is what was disgraceful according to Swami's father. Okay. Now, whenever a question is posed like this, according to Swami's father, it is a good idea to start your answer like that. According to Swami's father, again, one more thing you have to keep in mind is the present tense usually becomes past tense when you add that according to in the beginning of the answer. So, according to Swami's father, it was disgraceful sleeping next to granny or mother like a baby. So, this is the answer to this question. Now, let's continue. As a quick recall, what is happening until now is Swami tried his best to get his father to be distracted from the topic, or he tried to convince him that he would sleep alone from the next month. But father is not convinced at all, and he wants Swami to sleep alone from that day itself. Now let's see what Swami does. Swami's father sat gloomily gazing at the newspaper on his lap. Swami rose silently and tiptoed to his bed in the passage. So, gloomily is not in a very cheerful way or sadly. And what Swami is doing, he's still trying to escape by just going and pretending to be asleep. Now, Granny doesn't know anything about this. Granny was sitting up in her bed and remarked, "Boy, are you already feeling sleepy? Don't you want to hear a story?" Now, Granny usually tells Swami a story before he sleeps, and she is asking Swami about whether he wanted to hear a story that night. Swami made wide gesticulations to silence his granny, but that good lady saw nothing. So now Swami is trying to sneak into bed and he wants his granny to be quiet because he doesn't want his father to realize that Swami is trying to sleep. So he's just shaking his hands to get granny to not speak so loudly. But his granny is an innocent lady and she doesn't understand. So Swami threw himself on his bed and pulled the blanket over his face. Granny said, "Don't cover your face. Are you really very sleepy?" Swami leaned over and whispered, "Please, please, shut up, Granny. Don't talk to me. And don't let anyone call me even if the house is on fire. If I don't sleep at once, perhaps I shall die." Now, Swami is very scared that his father is going to make him sleep alone, and he's trying to sneak into his bed and pretend to be asleep. He turned over and curled and snored under the blanket till he found his blanket pulled away. But the father comes and he's pulling Swami's blanket, And let's see what he says. Presently, his father came and stood over him. Swami, get up, he said. He looked like an apparition in the semi darkness of the passage, which was lit by the cone of light from the hall. So, apparition is something supernatural like a ghost. Now, Swami's father is standing in the darkness, and to Swami, because he's so scared, his father looks like a ghost. Swami stirred and groaned as if in sleep. So, to stir and groan is whenever when let's go back. So, whenever you're sleeping, as soon as you wake up, you won't be completely alert. Instead, you need to stretch your body and become alert. So, that action is known as stirring. So, Swami is pretending to still be asleep, and his father says, "Get up, Swami." Granny pleaded, "Why do you disturb him?" So now Granny is very innocent and caring, and she is saying, "Don't disturb him, he is sleeping." But father knows the truth. He said, "Get up, Swami," said father for the third time, and Swami got up. Finally, Swami gets up, and father rolled up his bed and took it under his arm and said, "Come with me." Swami looked at Granny, hesitated for a moment, and followed his father into the office room. On the way, he threw a look of appeal at his mother, and she said, "Why do you take him to the office room? He can sleep in the hall, I think." Now, Swami is very clever. He's seeking protection and support from both his granny and his mother. He looks at Granny first, and then on his way to the office room with his father, he also pleads at his mother. And she says, "Why do you take him to the office room?" So she's asking her husband, that is Swami's father, and asking him to make him sleep closer to the others. He can sleep in the hall, she is saying. But father is quite adamant. Adamant is determined and stubborn. So father has made up his mind. He says, "I don't think so," father said. And Swami slunk behind him with bowed head. "Let me sleep in the hall, father," Swami pleaded. "Your office room is very dusty, and there may be scorpions behind your law books." "There are no scorpions, little fellow. Sleep on the bench, if you like." "Can I have a lamp burning in the room?" "No. You must learn not to be afraid of darkness. It is only a question of habit. You must cultivate good habits." "Will you at least leave the door open?" "All right. But promise you won't roll up your bed and go to your granny's side at night. If you do, I will make you the laughing stock of your school." Now, this dialogue between Swami and his father, it shows how desperately Swami is trying to avoid sleeping alone in the office room. But father makes the final statement that if you don't do this, I will make your friends laugh at you. Now let's check your understanding. What do you think was the patience of Granny, was the practice of Granny before she went to sleep? Now we learned that as soon as Swami went to bed next to his granny, she asks him, "Do you not want to listen to a story?" So from that we can understand that the usual practice was to tell Swami a story and then make him sleep before she went to sleep. It was Granny's practice to tell Swami a story before she went to sleep. Okay. Next, was Swami really sleeping or was he pretending? Now, we know that Swami was pretending to be asleep when his father came. Because over here, we got to know that Swami just made his grandmother to be silent and he pretended to be Sleeping. Let's write the answer down there. No, Swami was not really sleeping. He was only pretending to be asleep. Okay. Up next, to Swami, his father looked like a. So we got to know that his father looked like a ghost. And in this story, they have used the word apparition. Okay. So apparition is a ghost. Make sure you know the spelling properly. Let's write the answer over here. Let's see if we have used the proper spelling. It's apparition. Okay. Up next, why do you think Swami looked at his granny and his mother while following his father to the room? Now we learned that he looked at them for their support. So I'll write the answer to the fourth question over here because there is more space. So the answer to the fourth one is Swami hoped that either his granny or his mother would support and rescue him from sleeping alone in the office room, which is why he looked at both of them while being dragged to the office room by his father. There might be scorpions behind your law books, said Swami. Had he seen them earlier, or were there scorpions really? So the answer to question A is no. Swami had not seen scorpions earlier and there weren't really any scorpions there. A. No. Swami had not seen scorpions earlier and there were not any scorpions there. So now, although we don't know the complete story, the entire R.K. Narayan story is not here, we can infer or deduce this because if there were really scorpions there, then his father would not have made him sleep in the room. Okay? Now the answer to question B is, let me bring this down so we can see the question. Yeah. Was it a trick to escape from his father? Answer is yes. It was a trick to escape from his father. Okay. Now let's read. Swami felt cut off from humanity. He was pained and angry. He did not like the strain of cruelty he saw in his father's nature. He hated the newspaper for printing the tiger's story. He wished that the tiger had not spared the boy, who didn't appear to be a boy after all, but a monster. Now, Swami is very angry and scared, and he's finding different things to blame on for his situation. He's angry about his father, he's angry about the newspaper, and he's also angry about the tiger and the boy. Now, do you think Swami is really angry about everything, or do you think he's just scared? Whenever we are scared, we at times make irrational decisions. But later on, when we sit down and think about them, we will be able to find a more balanced understanding about the situation. which is why we need to avoid making any decisions when we are angry. Now, the same thing is happening to Swami. He doesn't really wish that the boy was killed, but he's just very angry and scared at the moment. As the night advanced, the silence in the house deepened, his heart beat faster. He remembered all the stories of devils and ghosts he had heard in his life. How often his chum Mani had seen the devil in the banyan tree at his street end. And what about poor Munisami's father who spat out blood because the devil near the river's edge slapped his cheek when he was returning home late one night? And so on and on, his thoughts continued. He was faint with fear. A ray of light from the street lamp strayed in and cast shadows on the wall. Through the stillness, all kinds of noises reached his ears: the ticking of the clock, rustle of trees, snoring noises, and some vague night insects humming. Now, what is happening is Swami is trying to sleep alone, and as when we are scared, we start imagining or hearing things all around us. Swami's thoughts are drifted towards evil and devil stories that he had heard throughout his life. Every single noise is amplified because he is already feeling so scared. He covered himself so completely that he could hardly breathe. Every moment he expected the devils to come up and carry him away. There was the instance of his old friend in the fourth class who suddenly disappeared and was said to have been carried away by a ghost to Siam or Nepal. Now he's remembering everything that he has heard his entire life, and he's trying to protect himself with his blanket. Swami hurriedly got up and spread his bread under the bench and crouched there. So, to crouch somewhere is to just sit down with the body very close to the ground. It seemed to be a much safer place, more compact and reassuring. So, whenever we are scared, it helps when we are covered with something because we feel that we are protected. So, similarly, Swami goes under the bench and he tries to sleep there. He shut his eyes tight and encased himself in his blanket once again, and unknown to himself fell asleep. So, because it was his sleep time, even though he was so scared, naturally he fell asleep. But was it a peaceful sleep? And in sleep was racked with nightmares. So, to be racked with something is to suffer suffer something mentally. So in this case, he was suffering from nightmares. Nightmares are bad dreams. So his bad dreams are about tigers. A tiger was chasing him, his feet stuck to the ground. He desperately tried to escape, but his feet would not move. The tiger was at his back, and he could hear its claws scratch the ground. Scratch, scratch, and then a loud thud. Swami tried to open his eyes, but his eyelids would not open, and the nightmare continued. It threatened to continue forever. Swami groaned in despair. With a desperate effort to open his eyes, he put his hand out and felt his granny's present at his side, as was his habit. But he only touched the wooden leg of the bench, and his lonely state came back to him. He sweated with fright, and now what was the rustling? He moved to the edge of the bench and stared into the darkness. Something was moving down. He lay gazing at it in horror. His end had come. He realized that the devil would presently pull him out and tear him, and so why should he wait? As it came nearer and nearer, he crawled out from under the bench, hugged it with all his might, and used his teeth on it like a mortal weapon. Now, what is happening is Swami is neither completely asleep nor fully awake. He is in the in between zone, and although he's dreaming, his actions are doing in the real world. So, what is he doing? He is feeling like something is out to get him, and he's trying to fight it off, and he uses his teeth. Let's see what happens later. Before that, let's check our understanding. Swami wished that the tiger hadn't spared the boy, which means he didn't want the boy to be alive, or he didn't want the tiger to be alive. So, which one of these do you think is right? Do you think Swami wanted the tiger to die, or he wanted the boy to die? So, when Swami is angry, he's actually thinking that he didn't want the boy to be alive. So, he wished that the tiger had not spared the boy, meaning that he didn't want the boy to be alive. Question 2. As silence deepened in the room, what was Swami reminded of? So, let's go back to that section. As the silence of the house deepened, he remembered all the stories of devils and ghosts he had heard in his life. So the answer is, as the silence deepened, he remembered all the stories of devils and ghosts that he had heard in his life. Let's return the answer to question 2 over here. As silence deepened in his room, he was reminded of all the ghost and devil stories he had heard his entire life. Now, question 3. Which place in the room did Swami think was safe, compact, and reassuring? So, we learn that in the story, Swami takes out his bed from on the bench and puts it under the bench. So, in the room, let's go back to see where he does this. So he hurriedly got up and spread his bed under the bench and crouched there. So the answer is, in the room, Swami found the place under the, so this one is the bench, not the bed. So he found the place under the bench to be safe, compact, and reassuring. Next, Swami touched Dash in the room instead of Granny. So he touched the wooden leg of the bench. Let's go back to see where he does this. He only touched the wooden leg of the bench. I have written this in another color so you can differentiate between answers to 3 and 4. Next, fifth one, Swami saw a moving creature in the room. It was Dash. So to answer this question, you need to know the next part of the story. Let's go ahead and read the next part. Ayyo, something has bitten me, went forth an agonized, thundering cry, and was followed by a heavy tumbling and falling amidst furniture. Now, agonized is to be in pain. Because Swami bit that person was in pain. Thundering is very loud and was followed by a heavy tumbling. Tumbling is the sound something makes when it's falling down. And falling amidst is in between. So what is happening is somebody is screaming in pain loudly and there is a sound as though somebody is falling down. In a moment, father, cook and a servant came in carrying light. So what is happening in this scene you can see over here. Swami, in his sleep, he has bitten the leg of a burglar and that burglar is screaming in pain, and everybody in the house, including his father, the servant and a cook, they have come to his rescue. And all three of them fell on the burglar who lay amidst the furniture with a bleeding ankle. Now everybody has caught the burglar together and congratulations were showered on Swami next day. His classmates looked at him with respect and his teacher patted his back. The headmaster said that he was a true scout. Scout is somebody who's very disciplined and brave. Swami had bitten into the flesh of one of the most notorious housebreakers in the district, and the police were grateful to him for it. Notorious is widely known in a unpopular manner. So Swami, in his sleep, inadvertently had caught the burglar, and everybody is thankful because he caught the burglar. The inspector said, "Why don't you join the police when you are grown up?" Swami said, for the sake of politeness, clearly, yes, though he had quite made up his mind to be an engine driver, a railway guard, or a bus conductor later in life. When he returned home from the club that night, father asked, "Where is the boy?" Now, mother is answering him, "He's asleep." Already, mother is saying, and she is supporting Swami, "He didn't have a wink of sleep the whole of last night," said his mother. "Where is he sleeping?" "In his usual place," mother said casually. "He went to bed at 7:30. "Sleeping beside his granny again?" Father said. "No wonder he wanted to be asleep before I could return home. Clever boy." Now his parents are having this conversation where mother is supporting Swami and father is saying, "Why is he sleeping back in his usual place?" But mother now completely supports Swami. She loses her temper. "You let him sleep where he likes. You needn't risk his life again." Now mother is angry at father because the burglar came into the room and Swami was alone. She thinks that Swami has risked his life by trying to catch the burglar. Father mumbled as he went to change. "All right, mollycoddle and spoil him as much as you like. Only don't blame me afterwards." Now, mollycoddle is to pamper somebody, to treat someone very kindly and protect the person too much from anything unpleasant. So now father has admitted defeat and he is allowing Swami to sleep wherever he wants to. Swami, following the whole conversation from under the blanket, felt tremendously relieved to hear his father was giving him up. Now, at the end of the story, Swami finally gets what he needs, what he wants all along, and he gets to sleep next to his granny in his usual place. So, that is the end of the story. And to answer this question, so Swami saw a moving creature in his room. So, now we know it was nothing but a man. Okay. So, the creature that Swami saw in his room was a man. So the answer is C, a man. Let's go back to answer these questions. Check your understanding. Who cried, "Ayyo, something has bitten me"? Now take some time to answer these questions before I give you the solutions. Answer these questions. Because there is no space to answer all these questions, I have written them separately over here. The first one, who cried, "Ayyo, something has bitten me"? Now, after reading the story, we get to know that it was the burglar who cried, "Ayyo, something has bitten me." Who did the father, cook, and a servant stumble upon? Father, cook, and a servant stumbled upon the burglar. So, when the burglar screamed after Swami bites him on the ankle, he screams, and the father, cook, and a servant, they run into the room and they catch the burglar. Why were congratulations showered on Swami? So, congratulations showered on Swami for catching one of the most notorious housebreakers of the district. Do you think Swami really wanted to join the police? If not, what did he want to be? So, Swami did not really wanted to join the police. Instead, he wanted to be an engine driver, a railway guard, or a police conductor, or a bus conductor. Next question. Did Swami muster up the courage to sleep alone after the burglar incident? Answer: no. Swami did not muster the courage to sleep alone after the burglar incident. Next, who supported Swami? His mother or his granny? His mother supported Swami. So after father comes back from home, Swami is pretending to be asleep next to Granny, and his mother supports Swami and asks his father to leave him alone. So these are the answers to check your understanding questions. Next we have the important part, that is the exercise question. Now I will give these answers one by one and you can refer to them. The link to the video explaining the answers is in the description box below. Make sure to check that out so you have the answers with you. I will see you all in the next lesson. If you want answers to the entire textbook, make sure to like, share and subscribe.